Initiating hyperspace
Launch sequence.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Uncaged Creativity Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Sherman, here with co-host.
Christian Carranza. Yes.
Right back at
That's
you.
the wrong hand, I think.
Is there a specific?
I think it's this one.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did naturally.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You did the right one.
yeah,
I mirrored you.
yeah. Well, no, I mirrored you. You did first. This is an episode all about my debut solo album, Uncaged, which came out. Are we releasing this on release day? When's the?
I
What's the
can
birthday?
if you want me to.
Came out today. Obviously, we're recording this beforehand, so it didn't come out today for us. But
But I've been
came out
listening
today
to
for
it for like 3 months.
We've had it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You actually got to hear it come together over a long period
yeah.
of time. How long was that? 6 months?
You keep talking.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. I think over the course of 6 months, you
Just
were
for
getting
context. Just
tracks.
for context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
physical copies available on my
Physical copies.
website, merchbydanielsherman.com.
Get yours now.
They're gonna be signed. Christian's isn't signed because he like knows me in person.
It's not cool
So,
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
when
not
you
really that
when
special.
you first gave me the floral mask poster and he signed it, I was like, "What the hell is this, dude? I know you."
You asked me to.
I'm just kidding. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
That way I could sell it on the internet later.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do.
Just like this, we still have the car from Nokia Drift.
From Nokia Drift
going up
slash
on
in the
eBay.
crowds.
DM me.
Oh my gosh.
$60.
I want to ask Christian, what's your top 3 songs?
I don't
off
even need
record?
this right now.
Top 3 songs off that
I
record.
forget we did this, but we're redoing it.
Yeah, we're actually redoing this episode just because it was too soon after. It was like 2 days after I finished the record.
Yeah, you were like scatterbrained.
My brain was tired, so we were redoing this episode. Top 3 tracks from the record, Christian. I'll act surprised when you say them.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah.
But in no particular order.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Hosea. We have Finally.
Yeah.
We have Kill a Bad Guy.
Yeah. What's that shirt you're wearing, Christian?
It's actually it's top secret. I got it from Roswell. I went on vacation to Area 51.
This is not true.
They just had a little pop-up shop there, and
This is literally all
they
lies.
They had a little. What does it say?
It says kill a bad guy.
Kill a Bad Guy.
Christian got shirts made.
did.
One for me, one for him that say
did.
kill a bad guy. But guess what? There's also an extra shirt. And so we're going to be giving that one away. Keep an eye on my
Ooh.
socials to
Okay,
find out
I didn't know you were
how
doing that.
and when
This is the first time I've heard
that's
this.
going to happen. Really?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's a
doing
good
with the
idea. I
third
should have bought another one then.
No, it's cool to
Why
just
don't
have
we
3.
just do that?
Because they have one of 3. They have
Or-
one of 3 shirts.
Or if we give one away on every episode. Maybe not every episode. Maybe
That'd be
every,
so expensive.
it wasn't that bad. But like maybe every couple of episodes we'll give them away.
Yeah. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for how to win
You
that
pay
shirt.
for shipping. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, those are my top 3. What are your top 3? I know it's a very difficult song as an artist, but please just give me 3.
That is a difficult question as an artist.
Facts.
How about I tell you today what my top 3 are? If
That's
I
a
were to
good-
hop in the car
Good answer.
today
Today.
and I wanted to listen to 3 songs from this record, I would listen to Hosea,
Mm-hmm.
I Hate Nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give 5 instead of 3?
No. Okay, you can get 5.
Okay.
That's like half the record.
I would
That's a
listen to
quarter.
Hosea, I Hate Nostalgia, The Show, Healing, The End.
The end is pretty good.
The last 4 songs, I mean,
So real quick, while you say that,
yeah.
we'll come back. Explain the structure of like the title track, the title tracking. Like, why was it
In that order.
in that order? Yeah,
It's
I can't
chronological
speak
to
today.
the story.
Well, besides that,
kind
though,
of.
Besides
So
that,
now I can talk about this,
the style of the music,
which is crazy that I can talk about this. So halfway through the record, when you hit interlude, something happens where obviously, as the lyrics say, the main character's memory is restored.
Mhm.
So then from No Spoilers to Healing, you're hearing songs that actually take place before. So I think I might do, let me know in the comments if you're interested in this, is make a playlist that has like what's the word? Like storytelling order and then true chronological order, which would be No Spoilers, My Anchor, The Show, I Hate Nostalgia, Healing, Inside, Floral Mask, Bulletproof, Uncaged Voices, Killa Killa, Hosea, Finally, Fire Dancing, Interlude, The End.
That'd be cool. Didn't Billie Eilish do something like that?
I don't know.
She released
Did
like a fan version and like the regular version.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, so the structure is, I mean, you know, can I tell you what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of perfected / machete order for Star Wars.
Oh, right. When I've never heard you say that though. Like that
Yeah.
order you just gave me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but that's exactly what it's like. You got, imagine like Inside to Interlude is episodes 4 and 5. No Spoilers through Healing is the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And then The End is episode 6.
You're hecka right, dude.
Yeah.
Because I was not like a fan of the prequels that much.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of the prequels on there either. Wow.
Really?
Not really.
I guess
really-
they're just not as experimental and you like the experimental stuff.
Let's see. I mean, you've told me and you called it out that I would like the
I knew
front
which ones
half,
you'd like.
the front half more than the back half.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot of people who are the opposite. You know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting because I think I've already said, I don't know. Oh no, we're re-recording.
Yeah.
But I think the people's song is going to be I Hate Nostalgia
Yeah. I agree.
for sure.
I agree. I think it's between I Hate Nostalgia or Finally.
Finally, it's good too. It's really like modern, a lot of EDM
Yeah.
focus,
EDM, future
weird.
pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird because one thing I was saying in the chat when the videos would drop, I don't remember which one it was in particular,
Yeah.
but I said something like, "It's funny because those 3 songs you dropped
Yeah.
don't even give you a taste of what the album is.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at
You're
all.
not-
And then
you're not-
even they're going to get Uncaged. Well, I guess they will have gotten Uncaged an hour before.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
even then,
still
it's
those
still
4
different.
don't tell you.
It's still
You
different.
really do need the whole record
Mm-hmm.
to understand what the record is.
And I think, did you do that intentionally?
Yes.
Or was it due to like your limitations with the recording that you just put it out that way?
No, I wanted to release a record that sounded like something I'd never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of other artists, when they release an experimental record or a genre switching record, they always have like 3 or 4 songs that still sound like them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still present, this is who we are. We're not going away from who we are. So here's the tracks that'll make you feel like we're still us. And I didn't want to do that. And even down to like the order and the sound of the order, what I love about this record, which is weird to say that because it's my record, but I mean it, is that I strictly said, I'm going to tell this in story order.
Mm-hmm.
And what that created was the first half of the record, because of the story, is very bizarre. And the order of it's very bizarre. You go from Inside, which is this, if NF did Billie Eilish song, right? That's kind of the premise that I wrote it to. And then you go right into Floral Mask, which is just one of the weirdest songs out there.
I can't even categorize that.
I don't know what it is either.
Because the video just dropped like yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then looking back at, since I had this whole thing months in advance, I was like, this is such a weird song.
Song order or just song?
This song.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't sound like anything else on here at all. And you did a good job of like, because I thought I had an idea of what you were going to give me when you told me about Floral Mask, because you gave me Inside first.
Yeah.
And I was expecting something similar to that. And then Floral Mask was something like, I don't know what you want to call that. Like folky kind of music.
It's not even folk. It's
like cinematic, weird elements in them.
If I had to try and classify it, I would say it's orchestral. Oh, it's very symphonic and orchestral, but it's also like there's electronic rock, not rock. Yeah, I'm done. I can't do it.
It's hard.
I can't do it. I don't know what
Then
it
you go
is.
from that to Bulletproof Umbrella, which I heard next.
Which is a club
I
inspired.
don't even know. Yeah, it's super like
Club inspired
poppy.
alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super poppy. And then
Hip-hop.
the next one is going to come out as Uncaged.
Uncaged, which is very slightly more rock version of Blinding Lights.
And going all over that's a very good explanation. Going all over the place. Some people have already heard Killa Killa.
Yes, Killa Killa and Title Track were both in my Good Noise set and
If
in
you
my
watched that.
Exalted set.
Mhm. Did anybody message you about those? Or were you in the chat during that time? During your set?
So I could not watch my Good Noise set because I was on my way to the house in the mountains, and there's a 45-minute period of time where I have no service. 8 minutes before my set, I hit the no service zone.
Oh.
So I was on Twitter hyping it up, and then I was
You
gone.
couldn't be there.
And the other thing too is that I was on social media break.
Mm.
And I specifically came back from my break for like 48 hours to be at the Good Noise Fest, to look at some new artists, to support Good Noise, to try and attend my set, get people energized for my set. And I couldn't even watch my own set. I watched like 11 or 12 other artist sets and did not watch my own set.
Just because you couldn't, though.
I could not. I wanted to, but I couldn't. So.
I wanted to see what people's reactions were.
I got some cool DMs. Like,
Yeah, I was
people seem to
wondering
like
about
it, but I still don't really know what the response was to that.
And you played it at Exalted.
Yes. So I did Killa Killa was my closing song at Exalted. Title track was like my 4th song, I think, at Exalted.
And you did Bulletproof Umbrella.
Yeah, but that one had already released. The single version had released. So, and the other thing too was at Good Noise, I did Inside and Floral Mask and Bulletproof Umbrella, but I did the old versions.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to. For one, we hadn't finalized the new ones yet, but for 2, I didn't want to spoil that.
Question.
Yeah, answer.
Why on Inside, on the remastered version,
Yeah.
why did you switch it from the whispering rap thing to like your regular like what do you call that? Vocal fry rasping thing.
Yeah. That's a great question. I felt like I wanted the song to be bizarre and eerie, but the more I thought about that track sonically, like the sound of it, the whisper rap just sounded cheap is the bottom line. It did not sound professional. It didn't come across. I don't know. It felt weird. I'm glad I got to release the single version where I did that so people could hear. Like, I think the single version, the vocal performance is more how I think the character would actually sound in that moment. But the new one, the bottom line was my debut solo record and I needed to sound good. So it was strictly a sound thing.
I was not expecting that because usually, like me personally, when I hear a remastered version, I most of the time cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did, but
Question to that.
Answer.
Can you tell the difference with Floral Mask and Bulletproof Umbrella?
yes.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them. They just sound fuller. And like I've told you this before that like for you doing it yourself, I couldn't. I mean, you had Jacob's help and you had Giovanni's help on Bulletproof Umbrella.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. To me, it sounded like I heard something on like by Kanye on Spotify, not like literally like him, but like the way it's produced.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's coming out of a car speaker.
Yeah.
Or it's coming out of my earbuds.
Yeah,
Like
true.
I don't have like most people don't have like legit studio equipment that they can hear it off of.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
Which is cool for me to hear just because I like even now, I still listen to this record and obviously I'll never tell people what they are. I have roughly 5 things I would like to change on this album. And I can't unhear them because I know every step of how it was made. I'm at a point now where I can listen to the album and it's like a song sounds like a song, but I mean, for the first 2 or 3 weeks after we finished, I didn't hear the song as a song. I heard the song as the 100 lanes of sound that we created and how they all gelled together. And I was just nitpicking all the work we'd done. But even then, there's still a few things I listen to this record and I'm like, oh, 3 decibels up on that. Oh, reverb down on that. Like, it's hard to break out of that.
because of
So it's cool that from your perspective, you don't know that. It helps me.
I know
as an
because you
artist.
told me.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
but before that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't, like I said before in the previous versions that were not remastered and redone, I can tell a difference only because like what you've showed me,
yeah,
meaning from a technical perspective
yeah,
of like now I can hear the difference in the remastered versions. It just sounds like, it didn't sound not full before. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It didn't sound not full. Floral Mask sounded like an actual like legit production, like you went to the studio to do it. But now it sounds fuller. And
Yeah.
I even saw some people actually typing in the chat that Floral Mask sounded like fuller. They used that word.
It's just bigger. Yeah, I mean, I think the big difference was that, I mean, the original Floral Mask was, just like all these songs, was still produced by me, but mixed by Jacob Wall back when neither of us knew what we were doing. Like, I started Uncaged on my MacBook in the floor of my room with a single mic running through
The interface?
my
Scarlett
interface,
2i2?
my Scarlett, and then I didn't even have a MIDI keyboard. So I was doing musical typing, which means the like letters keyboard, like on the computer keyboard. That was how I was playing all those strings, all the drums, everything, which then meant I had to go in and automate and humanize the notes. And it was just a wreck of a production design. And it was really difficult to get that to sound good.
That's how you learn though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because
and I would not have been able to produce the rest of the record. But then you have, I mean, to give a clear timeline, we had Inside, Floral Mask, It's Still Us, Evolving, and then we finally drop this. The growth in me as a producer, and then Giovanni getting mixing experience. We didn't know at the time he would mix this record, but then he comes in to mix and master this record. The songs are just, the quality jumps nuts. You know, I mean, even if we went back and did the Evolving record from scratch right now, it would be the same thing. It would sound bonkers just because we've grown
better
so
than
much.
it did before.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would sound, you know, those songs would sound crazy now. But I think that's how it should be too. Every record should one up itself.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even like the same with me for like video editing or like whatever. It's like,
Oh yeah.
when you first start, it takes you forever to do like the smallest thing because you're doing it like, I don't know what the word, like you're not doing it the right way.
Yeah.
You're doing it like this, like, what's that word? Like, not mediocre way, but you're just like MacGyvering it. You're like putting this here,
That's
putting this there,
that's
right?
a good way to word that.
And you're
yeah.
just like patching it together. And then if it works,
Yeah.
it just takes a really long time to get the idea across.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what was, besides that initial starting on your bedroom floor with the mic and the computer, what was the biggest challenge throughout this whole process? I know there was a lot.
Yeah.
What was the biggest one?
The biggest challenge? Honestly, and this is a case with, it feels like everything I do. The thing that was the biggest struggle was getting Giovanni on the same page with me. And then sometimes, like even with videos, getting you on the same page is always a struggle a little bit. But for this one, you know, even like, let's look at Uncaged when we started the title track. I described the song to Giovanni and he was like, thought he got it, but I could tell he didn't get it, and he knew he didn't get it. He just like thought he was going for it. So then the very first thing I laid down, we built the whole song around that synth lead, the boom, ba boom, ba 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 boom, ba na na na. I wrote that, laid it down, and it literally just took gradually building the song, describing a sound to Giovanni, like, okay, right here, I need something twinkly like a piano, high end, tinny, but with enough resonance for the notes to hold in. And so we scrolled through his sounds that he thought that might be. And I was like, stop, that's the one. Then I played down the, you know, that part. And it just slowly building it. And then once we had that first intro done, he was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's this. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
it's that.
It's
And
exactly the same way.
every song was like that. Every single one was, I mean, with the exception, Fire Dancing is the only song that someone else has a writing credit on. Giovanni has a writing credit on
I was
Fire
going to ask
Dancing.
that. That was going to be my next question. Was like, what? With that being said, you didn't know that Giovanni was going to be mixing this, and I think before you had the intention of producing it yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Before now, Giovanni helped produce it. Was there anything that he had a say in that kind of changed your mind or like helped you guide you in a certain way?
So
to make the song the way it
I
is?
am the producer on every song except for Fire Dancing. On Fire Dancing, he wrote that everything from the start of the song all the way to the end of the first chorus, like instrumentally, that's him. Because I had a version of Fire Dancing that I hated by the time it came around. I wrote it 2 years ago. It was in Uncaged fashion. It was a very bizarre song. Not that that song isn't still a little bizarre, but it probably went a little too far. And I just told Giovanni, like, dude, I'm not going to be able to unlock from the original version. If you can mess with some beats, let me know. And he made more than a beat. He made that sick piano part. By this point, he had the storyline too. He knew it all. So he was able to do some stuff with the instrumental that was really unique. And no, he just gave it a really good starting point. I mean, the drums, the piano, that whole instrumental. And then I totally reworked that vocal melody. And then coming out of that chorus, I produced the rest of that track pretty much again.
And then you talking about the drumming, what made you change your mind to put live drums in? Because I remember when you first talked to me about it, you'd never mentioned live drums.
Yeah.
And not all the songs have it though.
Yeah. So I don't know. So the difference, the thing to keep in mind that's crucial to the timeline on this record is that Crown and Chains broke up like after Bulletproof Umbrella released. So we're 3 singles in on this record, and then the band breaks up right as I'm getting ready to rev up production for the final version of this album. To me, with my solo stuff, I never wanted to repeat what I was already doing with Crown and Chains. So Crown and Chains had the band sound, the full sound, the big sound. And so that's why I did like the hip hop stuff. That's why I did the ballad stuff on the Seasons, that whole record, that whole EP. So when the band broke up, I completely rewrote the instrumental to Uncaged. I completely rebuilt No Spoilers. And then I actually wrote I Hate Nostalgia and Healing after that. Those are the only 2 songs that got a full, like, bottom to top, top to bottom, created
makeover,
as the album was forming. There was originally a song called Memories that had the same storyline as I Hate Nostalgia. And then Healing was created just because for one, I just felt it, I wrote it, and I felt like it needed to be on the record. But B, I felt the storyline needed that song really badly. So when Crown and Chains broke up, it gave me suddenly this, I have the ability to make the title track song. That's no longer like, if I were to release it while Crown and Chains was there, it would feel like I was not staying in my lane. Like, it would feel like I'm already doing that here. So why would I then butt my solo stuff in that direction? And, I didn't want to repeat myself. So that gave me the freedom to do that. So I tracked live drums on title track, Uncaged, voices, No Spoilers, My Anchor. And that's actually it for what made it on the album.
Yeah, there's some that didn't make it.
I also tracked drums for Hosea. We didn't use that. I tracked drums for Finally. We didn't use that. I think that's it, though.
It is how nuts this looked.
Are you going to cut to the video and the... That's so cool.
Would this be out by then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have just seen it. Cut to clips from the music video right there in the podcast.
The actual one? The actual music video or this?
Show it. Yeah, show it. Show
this?
you can show that footage in the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, this was gnarly. And I only brought that up because I tried to naturally segue from Uncaged to drums to the music video.
Yeah.
Because this was I maybe I'm you're what's the word? Desensitized me to sketchy stuff, but I didn't feel this was that sketchy.
You didn't feel that was that sketchy?
I wasn't scared at all.
That is the most scared I've been. I was like,
worst they're gonna tell us to do is leave. We're playing drums. That's in the wrong picture.
So for
hold on.
Be careful. Probably turn the volume down because it's gonna mess with the mics.
Good idea. But this is recording live drums at the same location where we shot inside.
Yeah. And what time was it? 10 p.m.
It was about 10.
So at 10 p.m. we trespassed.
I'll throw this photo up too
on private property
of how it looked like from the outside.
Photo. We trespassed on private property.
Why you gotta say it like
loaded because that's the truth of the matter. We loaded a bunch of stuff onto this property. We made a ton of noise for 30 minutes, and then we made a ton of noise for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we got the frig out of there.
Well, the good thing is that
I've never been more scared on set.
We brought a whole drum set out there.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that there was people having a party next door.
Yes. So there was a party probably.
It wasn't next door because it's kind of in this little secluded area.
Yeah, probably about a mile and a half down the road. But we could hear their party from the location, which meant that a lot of people were probably going to blame what we were doing on them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the sound wise, that gave me a little peace of mind, but it was definitely, I was convinced we were going to get in trouble for that one.
And I was a little skeptical about when you said you wanted to put live drums on it, because I was like, this is great the way it is. Leave it. This is my, you're in your head and you're thinking about how can I make this better, because it's never going to be better. It's never going to be good.
Yeah.
It's never going to be done.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, I honestly did not think you were going to use them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because...
But then you saw it.
But then I saw you play the live drums and I was like, oh, this works.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard it. And then you started playing Uncaged and I was like, oh, this works.
Yeah.
Especially the way it sounds by itself with no track. You're like, this is too rock for what this is. For Uncaged, it worked, but then you played it for
Hosea,
and then you played it for
So the problem
Finally.
was I tracked the drum part for Hosea. That was actually really intricate. I was kind of surprised by how intricate it became. And when we tried to make it work, for one, we'd never mixed live drums before. So this was our first experience trying that out. And we were just running out of time. It maybe could have worked if we had another month to just whittle at it. But every version of that song with the live drums on it just sounded cluttered. It just did not have the same flow and energy that it had originally.
Yeah, there was so much already going on in there.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was like, when you said you wanted to add live drums, I was like, you got a synth, you got like ukulele with guitar pedal plugged in, you have like, but it works.
For title track, it does.
And I'm glad you didn't do it on all of them.
Yeah,
Because it makes it special.
I agree.
And I don't even think you could tell that. I can't tell that Uncaged is live drums, besides the fill in the beginning.
There's a few fills in there. I mean, that's good that you can't. It's not supposed to sound like punk drums.
Yeah, that's the
it should
thing,
sound
yeah.
like polished modern live drums in a pop song. So I was bummed Hosea we couldn't do it, and then finally I tracked a bunch of drum fills.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before the breakdowns, and even the last breakdown, I tracked a drum part. And the bottom line was, it's stuff I would do at a live show that does not work for the album.
Yep.
When we heard it all together, I was like, that's really cool. But now it sounds like it's a live performance and not like I'm listening to an album.
Especially the way it sounds in Jonathan's studio.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound bad. It just like the room noise
Yeah.
makes it sound so much bigger.
Yeah.
When you already have so much else going on in the album and you add the reverb from the drums and the full room tone, it does become a little overwhelming.
Now, on the flip side of that, though, there's songs like My Anchor was a steaming dumpster fire until we added live drums. We tried desperately to get that song to sound good and could not do it. And I even told Giovanni, you know what, let's wait till we have drums, and then at that point we'll have all the sounds. Let's try and gel it. The second I heard back the drum take that I had recorded for that song, I was like, we just cracked it. And that song came really quickly after that.
Yeah.
It was
Because
cake.
it started as a ukulele.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't start that way. It had the intention of being a bigger song, but you laid down the roots for it on ukulele just to get it out right.
Well, and like, I mean, the song is so folk inspired that if you don't have that, you're missing what makes a folk song a folk song. Like, I mean, you can play folk songs on just guitar or whatever, but it's not that type of folk song. This is that like, what's that song? Lumineers, the big Lumineer song. Ho Hey, is that what it's called?
Don't know
Hey
what
Ho?
that is.
Okay, anyway, that song is driven by that, and that's, without that in My Anchor, it was just a disaster. It just did not sound like a real song. So it made that song, no spoilers, I went into that and recorded that whole drum part with only 40 seconds of that song completed,
being done. Yeah, I remember that part.
which was terrifying. So I had 40 seconds of song to hear in my ears to go off of, and then the song stops and I just have click, and I'm playing the drums from memory on the structure of the song. Luckily, I actually got it right. I was kind of nervous afterwards. I was like, I really hope that I didn't mess that up.
Yeah.
But I did. I got it right. And so that's the only song on this record we built the song around the drums, which I think was really cool. It makes that song stand out a little bit. But yeah, so we filmed the video for title track. Tell us about your experience with that, Christian.
Yeah, that was...
What was your perspective of the song before filming versus after filming? Or the video before filming?
This was
versus
the
after
most
filming?
planned we've ever walked into a video,
For sure.
for sure. But it was also... Oh, my bad. Probably stopped recording, huh?
space on memory card.
Oh, man.
Should we pause the podcast?
No. We'll just put a picture of me up.
Okay.
Whatever. But I'll
That's
swap
cool.
the batteries real quick. Oh, wait. I need the
It's
memory
not about
card.
the batteries. It's the memory
Here.
card.
You talk to him for 5 seconds. Or we can take a break.
Let's take a break.
Boom.
There you go.
Sick, dude. Well,
All right. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. We only had 2 minutes of that recording the whole time, but
That's
that's
fine.
okay. You'll just see a nice picture of me.
Yep. Welcome back to the Uncaged Creativity Podcast.
Welcome.
Christian, what was your view of the music video before filming versus after filming?
Yeah, so it was the first time we walked into a video that prepared,
Yeah.
and it was also the most confused I've ever been. Because like
I could tell.
I was like, it made sense on paper,
Yeah.
but then doing it in person, I'm like, why are we doing it this way?
Yeah.
And plus the order of how we had to shoot it made me more confused.
Yeah.
Because I was already a little confused of the storyline.
So explain that. How did we, in terms of order, why did we have to change the order we shot it in?
We drove out there to the location, which is the same location where we shot Bulletproof Umbrella.
Yep.
A total of 3 times.
3 times. First time was a scout, you and me, making sure we knew what we were doing, where we were at.
Plus photos.
All that stuff. And we got some promo photos.
And then the
promo
second
photo
time, we, do you say plug them here?
I said, put the promo photo here.
Will.
Wow.
See how I did that?
I did.
Magic.
I can't wait to see that edited.
Second time, we went out there with Ruben, Trinity, Lori, Richard, you, and me.
And Giovanni.
And Giovanni. Damn. 7 people.
Yeah.
And this is not, like, you don't just park and, like, walk in there. This is like a journey.
Yep.
You got to, like, cross railroads with, like, rocks on them.
It's about
you
a 20-minute trek.
It was not 20 minutes.
It's normally 20 minutes.
It was like
for me.
45 minutes.
With 7 people, it was a lot longer.
Yeah. So we went there with about, what did I say, 7 people, 6 people?
Yeah.
And we started losing light really quickly because we just setting up, more people involved is like...
We left later than we meant to.
We left later.
It took longer to get there.
It took longer to get there.
It did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of...
And a lot of like coordinating because like
Yeah.
it was just a very specific thing you were asking for.
Yeah.
And it didn't make sense
No.
until we put it together.
Not until you... they probably have no idea what
Yeah.
they even filmed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they do not get it
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Yeah. There's a scene with you. Should we give that away?
They'll have seen it.
I know, but should we give that away? How we did that?
No. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a scene where Daniel is like being pulled and like he's like floating.
Yeah.
And we just put him on a longboard.
Yeah.
And-
So I came to Christian with that idea already in mind. And I said, I have this shot. I have an idea of how to do it. No idea if it's going to work. And so we banked on it is the problem.
Yeah.
That in the script, there was no way to shoot that scene unless we did it that way because that's the only way we planned for.
No other option.
And what I did not consider was that the location we were filming on, I knew ahead of time. I just didn't think about how rough it would be.
Narrow it was.
I'm afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very high up with no guardrails on a skateboard being pulled by a rope between Christian's legs.
Well, that was one. That was the first day wasn't that bad because the sidewalk doesn't fall off that much.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous the first take.
Yeah,
the first time I get pulled in the video, there's not a drop off on either side. There's a drop off on one side, and it's like maybe 7 feet.
Yeah, so
Like,
you wouldn't die.
No,
but
it's
I
no
mean,
problem.
we had a lot of people there, a lot of coordination, costume changes,
Yeah.
and we lost light really fast. So we had to shoot it in a way where we can get Richard, Trinity, and Ruben and Giovanni to shoot what they need, and we won't need them for a second shoot because the shoot turned from 1 day to 2.
Yeah.
And we didn't have time to shoot the performances how we wanted to. So
Yeah.
we shot everything we needed to with just Richard, Trinity, and Ruben and Giovanni.
Yep.
Because we knew we might not be able to have them again. So we went out of order in an already like weird concept music video, which I get now.
Yeah.
We came back the next day and we shot it again with somebody else being Cage Burner, right? And that was what we shot Daniel. But this time I feel like we're experts. We like pulled him on a longboard and he like knew how to stand because you don't skate.
Well, I do, but
Oh, you
nobody
do?
skates like that. Like
That's true.
You got the skateboard. I had both feet next to each other long ways on the skateboard. So I know how to skateboard, but that's not skateboarding. That's very uncomfortable.
It's like skiing.
I was already uncomfortable just walking on that bridge.
Yeah.
Because it's so high up and I hate heights.
That was the second day. So it was Ruben pulling you
Yeah.
on the skateboard on a bridge. And we
Yeah.
did that. And then we filmed part of it in the shade because it was fine. And you couldn't tell the difference in the time of the day from that day to the day prior.
Yeah.
And then we
But
got
that
to the bridge.
is exposed.
The bridge, the sun was everywhere and it was fine. It was okay. But like the trained eye will probably be able to tell that it was not the same day.
I made us all redo it.
But yeah, Daniel made us all redo it.
Because we shot the bridge scenes, all of the bridge scenes, and then the sun went down and looked exactly like it did when we shot Trin Richard, or dang near exactly like it did when we shot Trin Richard and Ruben
that'd
stuff
be like
the day
them
before.
if they like
Like it was the same time we shot that. So I was like, guys, the best way to do this video is to get all that stuff again. And so we did it.
Yeah.
You weren't very happy.
I wasn't very happy with
No,
that.
you're frustrated with that.
Yeah.
Are you glad now?
Yeah, I am now.
I
I'll give
knew
that
you
much.
would be.
Yeah.
I knew you
But
would be.
there was just so much going on already, and I wasn't even planning on being there all day. I was just like, let's get this and go.
You had a lot of life things going on.
I had a lot of life things going on.
Yeah.
But I was just like, dude, it's fine. Like, yeah, you could tell that it's different. I can manipulate it a little bit to make it look like it was the same day. But yeah, it was, and especially because like this is what I meant by like I felt like we're experts now. Checking if the camera's dying. Is like it took several tries to get everything. Because there's so many elements that can go wrong with the floating scene because it has to be continuous. The whole verse has to be, I can't trip to, I mean, it's granted I'm going to slip a little bit because I'm hand holding it. Got to be smooth. Got to say all your lines. Got to look a certain way. You can't look to the side to make sure you're not going to fall. I can't look behind me to make sure I'm not going to fall.
I had to keep my eyes on the camera. That was
And
the
it took
hardest part.
like, I don't know, 7, 8 tries.
Yeah, we did
each
a lot.
one.
We did a lot.
But by the time we redid it, it only took like
We got it for
30 minutes.
Try, right?
Yeah, like 30 minutes to redo everything.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we reshot it for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad too. I think there's so much pressure for me for that specific music video. I don't know why, but
I don't know why either.
That video is really important for me to nail. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do.
And it is.
So.
I mean, by now you guys would have seen it, but even looking back at the other videos, I'm like, these aren't bad. I remember I thought they were cool. Then I edited them, and then we released them, and I was like, these are like whatever.
Yeah.
But looking back at them now, I was like, oh, these are pretty good.
Floral Mask especially is just,
Yeah.
we really captured fear and serenity.
Mm-hmm.
That like really, which is the thesis of that song.
Mm-hmm.
We really captured that visually. You did a great job editing that one for sure.
Suck.
For sure.
And then a huge thank you to everybody that came out for that because that was sketch.
I mean, shout out to everyone who's been hyping this album up with me for the last 2 years, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then after that, what did we do that day? We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We reshot everything. I was not a happy camper. I was just straight up not having a good time.
Yeah.
And
you're also not feeling good.
Yeah. And then it was smoky in the air both days.
Yep.
And we try not to drink water and like stuff up there because then we have to haul up more stuff. And then I got the big camera, which is like in a suitcase. And I got to build the camera there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so worth it because it looks better, right?
It does.
Yeah.
For sure.
We did that with Ruben. We got food. And then then to like add to it, that was a long day.
It was a very long
We
day.
shot all the performance takes for the music video.
We had to do it that way because of I went to college 2 days later, 3 days later.
We didn't have much of a choice.
We had no time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But it worked out. I'm glad we did it that way.
yeah, I
Yeah.
am too. I'm glad to. Yeah, I'm really happy with that video.
That was a long day. That
was a brutal day. What is there any songs on here that you
Don't like all of them.
wow. Actually, yeah, what's your least favorite track on the record?
Easy.
Yeah? Is it
Yeah.
Healing?
Yes.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, it's healing. Yes, it's healing. I told
Yeah,
you that.
you
when
did.
you like showed it to me, I was like, yo, this is so cool. And I was like, I'm just not vibing with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It wasn't even done yet. It was like a rough mix. And I was like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But then you gave me the final one. I was like, oh, it's still like, it's
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know. That song's it's on my list of favorites, I think. I'm curious to see how people I think it's just it's got a weird if you're gonna follow the storyline, like storylines have rising action, climax, falling action. It's such a falling action song.
Well, I'm waiting for
think
it
it's
to
part
like
of it.
hit it like climbs
Yeah.
or descends, whichever one you want to choose.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to hit that part.
And it never does.
And it never does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same reason you don't like it is why I love it. Which is really interesting. But I'm curious how people perceive that song and what they think about it.
I think that's
for
the
sure.
only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones kind of grew on me a little bit. I Hate Nostalgia is pretty good.
You know what? I'm glad you have a song you don't like though, because one of my goals with this record was for everyone to have at least one song that makes them uncomfortable.
Well, you nailed it because you gave Ruben like access to it, so he could
Yeah.
listen to it. And even he was like, some of them are for him, some of them are not, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
Yep.
Like, there's something for everybody on here.
Yep.
Something for everybody. And then voices. Whoo,
I was that.
not
Can I
looking
be
forward
honest?
to that video.
Can I be honest?
Yes.
That's my least favorite song on the album.
Really?
Voices. That's my least favorite
Why?
song on the album. I
Why even put it on here then?
still like it. it just, I don't know. I feel like all the other songs have such a deep personal connection to. And not that there isn't a personal connection with Voices, right? It's about songs about when your head just spins, when you have so much going on, when you're, I don't know. It's about like the chaotic parts of life, right? But I don't like when I hear Kill a Bad Guy and I think about my tension with my morality. Like that's a deep concept to sing about. Or, you know, every other song is just so deeply tied personally that song has the least emotional connection for me, I guess, which is the main reason. I also just feel like it's like, not that it's not a unique song, but I feel like it's not. To me, it's like just a more rock version of Good Luck.
All kinds of problems. We're rusty. Daniel's camera
What's a new
stopped
apartment?
recording. Yeah, bad luck.
We're figuring it out.
Bad juju.
Yep. I don't know. I think it just feels like a more grunge rock version of Good Luck to me.
I don't think so.
But
Voices, I'll be honest.
yeah, in your top 5?
What do you mean?
Is it in your top 5 songs? You
Voices?
really liked
Yes.
that one when I sent it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. But even Good Luck is not my favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's just not my favorite. So the fact that you relate it to Voices to me is like, it's two different songs.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have that same mark for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad not everyone's like, eh. You know, I think I could see Voices being one of the ones people gravitate towards a lot too. Just because it's the most rock song on the album. By far.
Rock. I would say it's more rap. It has more of that like Wu-Tang Clan like.
Well, it's
rap to
both.
it.
You know, it's
Yeah.
rap rock.
Yeah.
But I'd say in terms of like what rock is in the way most people think about it, guitars, drums, like it's got the most grungy, you know, style to it. But it also is straight hip hop the whole time.
And then we encountered something when Inside dropped. You want to talk about that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The feeling when Inside dropped.
I don't know
Remember?
what you're talking about. No.
When everything came full circle.
Oh, that was surreal. That was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Just the realization when we dropped the new version of Inside, watching the video, I was like, that's the first time I met Christian. Or like met you, you know?
yeah.
We had that one conversation where I was like, not sure what, I didn't get a vibe off you, so I was reserved.
Yeah.
And it was very business. Versus that one was middle of pandemic. I shoot you a text like, hey, I have an idea for a video. I don't have money.
Let's go.
This would be like a for fun thing. If you're down, if not, I totally get it. And then also we can't have anyone else there because of COVID. Like it has to be us. We have to stay distanced. And it was just a special video.
Yeah.
When I think about it. Like
I mean, it was for me too. And I got that feeling too, because this was just like, this was never intended to like all come out.
yeah, I mean, it was,
You wrote it.
was written to come out, but I didn't think it would.
Yeah. It was just too experimental and too like, and not to toot your horn here, but like ahead of its time for it to work right now.
I didn't think it would work. And maybe it didn't. I don't know. It's not out yet for us. So maybe it bombs. Who knows? I actually wouldn't be that mad if it bombed.
No, because you've spent a lot of time on this.
I know.
You got to flush it out.
I know it is what I want it to be. And that's honestly all I care about. Like I know there's people who like this type of music and the rest of the world doesn't like it, then frick off. But no, I started this record. I promoted this record. I leaked a bunch of instrumentals way back when I first started this record on my Twitter. And I released, you know, my whole philosophy with it. The reason I kept just dropping singles for a while there.
You didn't know if you were going to make it that far?
I didn't know how far I'd make it.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's get.
That's what I meant to say by like, this wasn't meant to be released.
Yeah. I was like, let's get as much of it out as possible and release it as singles.
See how far you get.
Yeah, because honestly, it was too ambitious for me at the time. If I tried to do the whole album, if I tried to do the whole album when I wrote Inside, like you would get the sloppiest, messiest, least polished thing you'd ever heard in your life, and you would all hate me and stop listening to me. Is the bottom line. Like it would not work. And I think even if we tried to do this record before evolving, I think it wouldn't work.
You needed the experience you had in between It's Still Us and Evolving to be able to make that, because that was like a big jump in quality.
after evolving
and songwriting.
I knew if this album was ever going to happen, it was going to have to start then.
Mhm.
I knew. And I was pretty straightforward with Giovanni about that. So what I did with Giovanni was we test ran Bulletproof Umbrella. It was like a trial of, I know this is not what you do, so let's try something a little weird and see if this album could work doing it together. And he nailed it. He killed it. So, but yeah, I legit, if we hadn't made those records, if I didn't meet you, true story, if I did not meet you and know I had someone who could help me visually tell this story, I wouldn't have gone for it.
I appreciate that.
I would never have released Inside if I didn't think there'd be a video. And I definitely wouldn't have released any of these other songs either.
Yeah, that's why I said for me too, it also came full circle because it was like this was like a passion project. Like at the time I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 passion projects, you being one of them.
Yeah.
And for me to just be like, now I have basically one, and this is the only one that I put my focus into. That's a passion project. And to see it come around, because most of the time when I get myself involved in a passion project, I'm like, I'm passionate about it too. And so I'm like, all I need you to do, and I'm talking like if this was a business conversation, I need you to just do your job. Yeah. Which is write the songs and perform. Because I can't do that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So a lot of the people that I start passion projects with, what happened is like they would just not show up. They would not commit, you know? And for you to show up and do Inside and give it your all, and then come back and do Flora Mask, show up and give it your all, and then come back and do Bulletproof Umbrella, show up and give it your all. I was so invested in it. I feel like I'm like a part of this. You are too. Like, you are 100%. Like, I get very defensive about it because it's like, like people are like, oh, I can, if somebody says like it's not that great or whatever, they like start nitpicking at it, I'm gonna treat it like it's like one of the CDs we just pulled out. Yeah. I'm like, well, you see, like this song is in here because of this song is in here because of that. Yeah. And that's how I feel about it. Watching that video made me like feel like it was also mine. You know what I mean? Even though I didn't write it. I 100% agree. You know, I feel weird releasing solo projects for that exact reason. Because you don't want it to be all yours? Well, like I know the performance, I played dang near every note you hear, and I sang literally every vocal except for the oohs on my anchor. Or the oh-ohs on my anchor. I did sing the oohs on my anchor. Keep going. Yeah, you're good. But I know the amount of hours Giovanni put in mixing and mastering. I know the amount of time you spent with me making the album art, vision casting the visuals, talking about the storyline, working on videos, like all that stuff. So for it to be called a solo record, like this is a 3-man job. This is you, me, and Giovanni made this album happen. Yeah, that's what was cool about when we did the episode with Giovanni the first time, because it didn't work out because we weren't really like, we couldn't talk about it yet because it was just done. Nobody like sat with it yet. Yeah. And that was what's cool. What was cool for me is like having you and Giovanni and me, because the 3 people in there, I only see like the finished product. I'm not in there with you guys. Yeah. Like watching you do your thing. But it was cool when we went to Jonathan's and we recorded the documentary, because I got to see it. I got to see you 2 doing your thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then like for me, I just get the finished product. I don't know what went into it. I can take a guess. I know you probably spent hours writing it. I know he probably spent hours mixing it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all I get is a finished project. Yeah. And then I get to take that and like, I get to do what Giovanni did. Yeah. Which for the record, he was really stoked to be a part of the title track music video because he got to see the flip side. He feels the same way about what we do. You know? Yeah. I'm the only person who's in both sides of that coin. Yeah. You know both worlds better than most people do. Yeah. 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 I don't know. It's weird because there's no other word for this than solo record, because the songs are mine. The intellectual property, meaning the actual songwriting, is mine. You also did something really cool with this, and that you did not put your name on it. Yeah, my name's not on the cover. That is true. What made you make that decision? I mean, for one, on a surface level, visually, I just couldn't imagine where to put it. That's a good place to start. Looking at it, I was like, it would take so much time to figure out where to put it. I was going to put it in the corner. Yeah, I don't know. But on the other hand, this is the most character-driven release I've ever done. And don't get me wrong, this album is me. Like my life for the last
4 months has been I hate nostalgia and healing. Like those lyrics, I'm in that. The end was how I processed the death of my grandfather. My anchor was about my mom and hugging my mom when I had to leave for college right after my grandpa's memorial. And, I didn't want to leave. Hosea is about my suicidal thoughts. Finally is about, is there even any hope in my life if I'm always going to wrestle with mental health? Kill a Bad Guy is about, am I a moral person?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do things I wish I wouldn't do. And is there just wickedness deep inside of me? Floral Mask I Wear is where I put all of my emotions towards politics during, the pandemic and all of that. Bulletproof Umbrella is the direct sequel to Floral Mask because it's about unity despite differences. Uncaged and Fire Dancing and The End are all about my views on heaven and eternity and the afterlife. Like there's so much of me in this record, but filtered through the lens of such a clear character and storyline that for me to have my name on the record felt like it was an injustice to the story itself.
And I like that you didn't sit down and like Quentin Tarantino this and like, this is this character, this is this character, this is this character. This character does A, B, C, D, E. You like took, and I'm sure it didn't come to you in that order. You took the song that you had about, I don't know, about your grandfather, and you wrote it with that thought in mind, but it didn't come out directly saying that. You made it so the character had a relationship with the song. Like it was just telling the story of the whole journey.
Which, hearing you say it that way just put something in my mind that I didn't realize I did. I forced my character to go through what the listeners go through, which is listening to a song and figuring out how they relate to it. And I didn't even realize I did it, but I wrote, like before this album was a concept, the show, my anchor, and a draft of The End.
Oh shoot.
We're all done lyrically. And so those songs had a little bit of making them fit the storyline, right? But anytime I release anything, the listener is saying, how do I relate to this? How does this impact me? Where is my connection? And that's, in a way, I'm doing that same dance with the character. Just for me, it's both ways this time.
And I think
it's how do I relate to the character? How does the character relate to the songs that I'm writing? It's both.
And I think that's interesting because of how you, like, again, how you didn't just make a character and you were like, the character like has these attributes. You had the attributes because they're you, but they're different parts of you. And you just created all one character that experiences these same things. Instead of saying it point blank.
The character is an alternate version of myself.
With different alternate versions of yourself.
So yes. Let's word it this way. The protagonist, the main character in this storyline, the protagonist, is literally me put through a completely wild scenario, right? And then there's, how do I talk about this without getting spoily? I'll just say it this way.
I hate spoilers.
There's alternate versions of me that you hear perspectives of. I really just want to say it, but I can't. I'm not going to, but there's alternate versions of me who have a voice. And that's me putting this specific segment of my emotion in my life here, putting this specific segment of emotion in my life here, and letting them dialogue and live together and reside together and impact each other.
Right.
It's probably my most psychological project to date, even over the King Suffering novel, which was very psychological. I think this one took a lot more thought.
It did. Again, just morphing your feelings into a character that doesn't exist, that kind of does exist, while telling a story. It's not like chapters where you talk about your mental health and you just put it out there. Or it's not like Crowds where you're like, oh, I can't be in front of people anymore, and you just put it out there. You're like, you added a whole nother complex layer to it, and you didn't get impatient with it and just put out what you felt. You took the time to I don't know how you did it. Maybe you had one of those spiderweb tack things and you were like, this goes here, this goes here.
Big old Google Doc that no one besides me will ever see. You got a
Bible?
You got a mini version of the Bible. I have a big Bible. It's like it's gotten even bigger now. But because now the big thing that I did was, I'll just say it. I'm just gonna say it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I can delete it.
No, I'm gonna say it.
What are you
without telling you. I don't know. Let's word it this way. I don't know how I'm gonna present this to you yet. But I know I'm gonna tell this part of the story. You only have half the story with this album. This album is the second half of a much larger storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And that other storyline that they have no access to directly impacts 100% of this storyline.
Mm-hmm. That was a good way to word it.
Yeah. I still don't know.
I don't think you spoiled it at all. You still did the Daniel thing where you gave me a little bit of it. I know because I know.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, and again, we're still talking about whether or not that's a dream or not, like a realistic dream to make happen, how we present that other storyline. I have 2 ideas right now that I'm wrestling with, but this whole record has, even like for a long time, I would say that the Hourglass Project, Part 2, whatever you want to call it, the Crown and Chains album that never released, was my proudest musical accomplishment. And
it needed to happen though, the way it did.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I know there's a lot of people who are very attached to the Crown and Chains storyline. I feel like this storyline has so much more emotion built into it, so much more intention built into it, so much more just plot and subplot and nuance and all of that stuff. And I think you'll be able to tell a little bit from this album, but I think that what's still to come in the music videos and in some of the other things that we're going to be bringing out from this storyline, I think that really will kind of prove what I mean when I say that.
Like I've told you, because of what we both are able to do, meaning you telling a story, you writing lyrics, writing music, and me visually telling the story, what we're able to do on this scale is, I can probably say this comfortably, that nobody else is doing what we're doing on this scale.
What do you mean by that? Like at our level?
At our level, we're like down here.
Yeah.
But like, if you didn't know us personally and you didn't see views, you'd think we're up here. I'm not saying that should be cocky, but I'm saying like, how many not signed artists do you know that have like,
can I be honest?
Have like what, 4 music videos?
How many signed artists do you see doing this? One of my big drives with this album was that the art of long form media and storytelling is dead. I mean, Zack Snyder's Justice League, 4 hours. I loved it. I loved it because, there's moments in that film where you're like, just get to the chase, get to the chase. But there's a reason he doesn't. And even if it frustrates you, the artist is getting to throw you into this project and make you sit in it. My favorite albums are the long ones, the big old long ones. And having a complex storyline, having these videos, I feel like because of the way that the music industry wants artists to find financial success so that the industry itself can profit off of them, no one is telling stories this way anymore. And if they are, it's because they're at a label like Fueled by Ramen, which just lets people do what they want. But that's not common. We're like losing the art of long form storytelling.
And what is one of the biggest complaints you hear with movies?
That they're too long.
No, besides that.
I don't know. What?
The biggest complaint that people walk out of a movie theater with is that I wish they would have just got to the point.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like how many times we're like, oh, it was good, but then there's this one part.
You know what? What is one of the most widely accepted movies of last year? Which people could say, maybe it was 2 years ago now. My timeline's a little messed up. Comic book film. Very, very highly praised. I think has that exact thing to it. That it takes forever to get to the point. Joker.
Okay. I was about to say, Joker. I don't think Joker is like that.
People loved Joker, but you spend the whole movie waiting for him to become Joker.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't, and then he does and the movie ends. And it's a fantastic film because it
maybe that's why
it's
I like it.
It's not action-packed. It's not even that dialogue-packed, to be honest. There's not that much that goes on within that film, but it forces you to feel it because it's long.
And what happened at the end of the movie? You saw why everything happened the way it was supposed to, and why everything was, even if it was drawn on and it's like, okay, this is drama now, because I'm not getting the Joker. You see why all that led up to like the end.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I never thought of it that way.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this record. I mean, even down to I have the all caps font and the period, which is a very intentional decision. The big reason I wanted a period about it. The big reason I wanted the period at the end, which I don't think I've said this before.
Nope.
The big reason I wanted the period at the end was that there is no sequel to this story.
I like that.
This is what happens during the end, which I'm never going to tell you what happened at the end, but what happens during the end, the song, the end, the storyline, the end of the movie, whatever. What happens there is the definitive end to that entire universe and that plot. I will not go back to it once I have told all of that story.
The book is closed.
Yep, it's done. It's done. And my favorite thing about this record is that the storyline ends with a period, but the viewers are left with a question mark. That was a very intentional choice, and it is every time right now I will probably once every week, every other week, put this CD in my car and just listen to it. I'm still at the stress listening phase where I'll go through it and be like, nitpick
everything
my stuff.
Sucks.
But the one thing that I love every time I listen to it is that feeling of what the F that you get when you listen to the end. And
you don't even have to listen to it thinking about the story. You can just listen to it just to like it. Yeah. Like I love Kill a Bad Guy. That's like probably one of my top 3. Yeah. But I can listen to it and just listen to it to have fun. Yeah. And I never once thought of the story ever. Yeah. The whole time.
And like, I mean, there's songs that force you to think about the story. Like title track kind of forces you to. Yeah. Voices kind of forces you to. But otherwise, like these songs are written so that like they're ambiguous. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like no one can relate to it either. You know, like it's poetic. It doesn't just tell you what I'm feeling, but I think it's ambiguous enough that people can listen to it and still feel the emotion I'm feeling and relate to that emotion. You know?
I agree. Well, you got to, the thing I'm trying to say is you got to dig deeper though. Yeah. To find relation with it. Yeah. Like you said, Uncaged like literally tells you like it's explaining the Uncaged to you. Yeah. You can't really like hear those lines and just automatically relate to it. You have to think deeper than that. Yeah. And I think that's really cool how you did that without actually saying, again, I'll go back to it because it's so cool because I didn't even know that some of these songs, you didn't just sit there and like write out a character plot. You just like made your own experiences and you twisted them into a storyline and you ended every single storyline so you can't go back. Yep. The period. Yep. Yeah. And I got a lot of inspiration from Jordan Peele's horror movies like Get Out and Us. They're just done. Those well, there's that, but also if you watch those films and you're not thinking about his dialogue on society and culture, you're missing half the film. You know, like if you go into Get Out and you're not thinking about racism, you're missing a very big part of that film. And that's what you're saying with this is that if you're listening to it and you're thinking of just a storyline, then you're missing it. You're just missing the music part. 100%. And if you're just listening to the music, then you're missing the story part. Yep. Yeah. And I would even go as far as to say the music, the storyline, and the emotion are all very different things. Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's 3 drastic things you have to balance if you want to understand the record as a whole. And then even then, like, if you're trying to understand the emotion, there's dialogue on politics. There's dialogue on my faith. There's dialogue on mental health. There's like so many things to juggle, and one thing means 4 things, means 5 things, means 8 things. Exactly. There's just so much to unpack in there. So I am so excited to present something new to the storytellers because I haven't seen like theorizing and stuff on social media since like the peak of Crown of Chains. And I'm excited there's so much to unpack in this record that I'm really stoked to watch them all go crazy and try and figure it out. So listen to it, please. I'll bake you cookies. Check out the record. Head over to my merch store, merchbydanielsherman.com, and check out what I have offered there. At this point in time, I don't know everything I have offered. I know there's stickers and buttons and CDs. I don't know if there's anything else or not, but go find out. Yeah, we're in the future right now, so yeah, so it's up in the air. Positive. And I mean, like, one thing that a lot of people don't do now is just share it.
Yes.
Share the music.
Share the album, post about it. Posting about it helps so much, but honestly, even more so, text it to a friend.
Yeah, copy the link to Spotify and text it to somebody.
Yep.
Like a lot of people actually don't do that now, and they don't actually listen to it.
And here's what I'm going to recommend with this record. Suggest different songs based on the person.
Yeah.
Like if your friend is into pop, send them the show and send them Finally and send them Uncaged or Bulletproof Umbrella maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they're your friends into rock stuff, send them Voices, Killa Killa, Hosea. You know, be strategic about how you share it too, because that'll help a lot. When I post something, like on it, comment on it, all that stuff, that helps the algorithm.
Unfortunately, stupid algorithm.
It's so dumb.
And then hopefully we can get out and then do a few shows, because that would be tight. So just that's what it all comes down to, though. Just, you know, if you love it, like, say it.
You gotta share it.
Please.
You gotta share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think it's a good place to end it. We're an hour and 8 minutes.
Yes. Thank you all so much for the support you've shown the record before the release. I don't know how you've supported it after the release, because that hasn't happened, but thank you for that as well. And honestly, like, this record would not have happened if I didn't feel like there was people who cared about what I had to present. And you all have shown time and time again, whether it's been Crown and Chains or my solo stuff, that you genuinely care and are invested in what I have to present you. So thank you for giving me an outlet and a place to express and to storytell. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check it out. Check out the link in the bios for merch, which we're not trying to push it, but I mean, if you want to buy some stuff, there's merch in there. There's the music. Share it. I was going to ask if you were going to do that, but I was like, please don't put your mouth on that. I put my mouth on that.
It. It makes you feel better.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, I was just next to it.
That works. He's just sitting there offering you the soda.
I know. Yeah.
He's like, come on.
I felt like I had to.
Take it.
You know?
Come on. Cool.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Peace.